Now, for those who are in science class, the science student here, you know, biology, chemistry, and physics are major ones. I'm not saying others are not. You can still do other ones, but we are prioritizing here on things, you know, the subject you need to prioritize for your admission. The focus is admission because you must begin with the end in mind. You don't just start a journey. You must, for example, if you are going to Lagos or Abuja in Nigeria, you first settle it that you are going there before you know the path you are going. So you must first have the end in mind before you now join the vehicle that will take you there. So the subject combination for science is biology. So let's go to biology. The course science subject here, this one is a core science subject. It covers living organisms, their structure, functions, ecology, genetics, and it has practical component, which was 35%. Practical is huge. No wonder people always they always want, when it comes to practical, they don't joke with it. And you know, for WAEC, at the school level, they will inform the teacher to prepare some things. They will send some confidential information. And from such confidential information, it's not expected for the teacher to disclose. You know, the teacher can, you can decode the direction, what they really want to ask, but it's always not. They are also smart. So instead of you be thinking, this is the direction or something, and you now start what that method, let me just go there a little. When they give you something in trust and you start thinking, they may likely, the same thing happens to chemistry and physics. They may likely ask questions in this direction, and you start teaching students. What you are doing is that you are distracting them, because they will think that's what you are saying is what they will bring out. And when it now comes to exam, we now go the other way. It's the same concept, though, but they may not really smart to know, because you have confused them that this is what it is. By the time you know, they will be confused in exam. So we should not be doing some things to confuse students. We can guide them on the concept, the direction, strategy, but not when they give us information in trust and we start pushing, oh yeah, this is what you should do, this is what will show up. No, we should be smarter than that. We can allow them, but don't put them, don't make them to be fixated that this is what it is, and now be expecting from one side. They will be confused. The people that are setting questions, they are smart. They will come the other way, but it's the same method of catching is what they will use. But before they will realize, the time to spend will have gone. So that is that. You know, having said that, you know that paper 3 is the practical, and you run for school 2 hours. It's a school exam, 2 hours. For GC is 1 hour 30 minutes, and that one is paper 3. Yes, paper 3, and paper 3 is 50 marks. That's huge, and that 50 marks is 25%. Paper 1, which is MCQ, is also 50 MCQ, multi choice questions, and it's 50 marks. That's 25%. 25, that's 50. If you do practical and objective only, you score A. And if you're able to score very well, though, not, the 50 is the peak. You can't score, you may not, somebody may score 45, 40, 30. But if you do practical very well, you have already meet up with C. C4, C5, or thereabout, or C5. So the theory is 1 hour 40 minutes, is 100 marks, and it's 50% of it. That means if you are looking at it, if you do objective and theory only, that's 75%. And that's entering a little bit into A. Unless you want to score everything. If you are not score everything, you score 75%. That's A1. So if you do well in theory and objective, you may have do excellently where you may have enter into B2. Without touching the practical. But if you now bring practical into it, it's A1. Because practical in secondary school, in a school exam, is walkover for those who are smart. Walkover. Because there are some by the time I look at the topics, there are some topics, they are practical focused topics. There are some topics they can't enter into practicals. The same thing with other science subjects. So for 50 MCQ, it covers entire syllabus, all compulsory tests, recall and application of biological facts. So paper 2 is section A and section B. Section A is compulsory, structured, and short to answer. And covers some aspect of common part of syllabus. So section B is to answer 3, 2 and then 3. This one, all those 2 and 3 questions, they may have ABC. So, and those 3 out of 5, they are theory questions, and those ones, each question in the theory carries between 20 to 25 marks. So if you have like five five questions, and you are looking at 100 marks. That's, if you say 5 questions, that's 20 marks. So you take those ones serious. So the practical one, specimen identification, observation, the field test, the number 2, microscopic ecology experiment. You see the focus on practical, and that is the 25 marks. And that is something. If you now go to the syllabus, you see the topics that frequently appear. You say biology, nutrition, transport, transportation, all these Mr. Niger D. You know, and the ones genetic and variation, ecology, kind, yes, they always come out every year. And those ones where they appear is right there. If you can visit that site, complete WAEC study, you will see all of them there. So it is very important. So what are the strategy you need to adopt with all these topics? One, the diagram equals mark. If you draw diagram in biology, you will get mark. Not just a mark, marks. Every theory question that can have a diagram, if a question has a diagram, if you draw the diagram, you get marks. So draw one, label it fully. When you are labeling, make sure that your line touches what you are labeling. For example, you are drawing cell wall or cell, and you have cell wall, you have the nucleus. If you want to label, let your line touches the nucleus. Don't let it just be hanging out there, not touching anything. So correct labeling may give you 5 to 8 marks of the question. That's something. And no food test, all these Benedict tests for reducing sugar, burette test, ethanol, it even help in chemistry, you know. All those kind of food tests for carbohydrate, for protein, just try and know them, you know. Genetic crosses, practice Punnett square daily, you know the ABO, blood group, genetics, and the rest. So what of practice specimen? To practice specimen, hibiscus, like maize grain, like fish, tilapia fish, frog, cockroach, toad, earthworm, I've mentioned that. And know their external features, or when you are talking about seed now, angiosperm, all those structure, they are structured. Some animals or insects, they are arthropods, their legs, their antenna, all those things. To be able to draw simply, you don't need to be a good fine arts person. You just be able to draw them and label them, probably with pencil. Biology is more pencil. Other ones, chemistry, you can use pen. So learn the equation like photosynthesis, the one for respiration, lot of ecology definition. You can also memorize them. Those are for memory. You can code them, you can cram them possibly, and they ask for definition. I think that should be able to guide you. The other subject that we can look at is physics. We will also touch that one in the next video. Thank you.